What is dyscalculia? I just passed my common entrance and I was about entering JS1. And one day in the house, my dad was teaching me a topic I will never forget, algebra. And he was teaching me, and at some point, he used an example like 1 bench plus 2 benches is equal to what? And I said 3 benches. He said, good. Then he said 2 benches plus 2 benches is equal to what? I said 4 benches. And then he now went to x plus 2x is what? And I froze. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know the answer. And he started yelling at me. Why can't you understand this? Why can't you understand this simple thing? This. And then he went back to the example. 1 bench plus 2 benches is what? I told him 3 benches. And then he came back to the x. And he said x plus 2x is what? I could not connect the x with the benches. So, and for each failure, I'll receive a stroke of cane on my head or on my body or anywhere. And then I was not told the answer 3x. So I now said 3x. Then along the line, it got to another problem where he now, the question was x plus x is what? And I was like, what's x plus x? And I said xx. If you see the kid with the flog me. So my point is dyscalculia. They whipped me that day. So what do you mean by xx? And after everything, I will never forget, there was this problem he now gave me to solve. 3x minus 5 equal to 10. It's over 20 years ago, but I still remember. But it was that kind of linear equation. And guess what? I failed it. I failed it big time. And I was flogged big time too. Dyscalculia. That is why I'm passionate about this topic. Algebra was a very big challenge for me growing up. And to think of it that when I finally got into SS2, I was not teaching algebra to my classmates. Not even before then, before I got to SS2, while I was in my senior secondary, I had gotten a firm grasp of it. That is why I say sooner or later, every child learns. Dyscalculia. What is dyscalculia? It is a difficulty in assessing, in solving problems. A difficulty in solving problems. It could be, this difficulty could appear in the form of arithmetic, meaning in the form of the child is unable to add figures, is unable to do little calculations. 2 plus 8, he has to count it to know. You ask him 2 minus 1, he has to count it to know. All those little calculations, all those calculations you see as little, the child has to count it several times before he can understand it. That's dyscalculia. It can appear in the form of arithmetic, meaning in addition, in subtraction, in multiplication. So you see a child, you ask him 2 times 1 is 2. Then you now ask him 2 plus 1, he'll still tell you is 2. So the child is finding it difficult differentiating multiplication from addition. But a number of parents fail to understand the difficulty or fail to try to learn what is this child finding difficult. They most times are operating in what we call the course of knowledge, which is when somebody has known a thing, he tends to forget the amount of time and the effort that he or she put in knowing what he or she knows. That's the course of knowledge. So I've talked about it in a previous video. So many parents operate in that realm where they operate under that course of knowledge. However, when you understand where your child is coming from, you are better equipped to help him. So it could be in the form of arithmetic, adding, subtracting, dividing, or multiplying. It could also be in the form of having difficulty understanding the logic behind the mathematical concept. So because mathematics is based on reasoning, logical reasoning, what we call quantitative reasoning, qualitative reasoning, and even logical reasoning. So because mathematical principles, they are abstract. They are basically abstract principles, meaning you can't really apply them to physical entities. They are abstract, meaning they work on your mind. Mathematics is, as a subject, just helps you develop the ability to think logically, to look at things logically. Okay, this equal to this. How can I evaluate? How can I assess this? So it helps logical reasoning, quantitative, verbal reasoning. All those things are part of mathematics, which help your reasoning. Now that child could have a difficulty in those specialties, in those classes of intelligence, in those areas: logical reasoning, quantitative reasoning, verbal reasoning. He may be having challenges in those areas, and that's what's coming out as a difficulty in mathematics, which we call dyscalculia. It could also be a difficulty in counting, meaning that the child has not yet understood how to count numbers, in numeric entities or alphanumeric entities, how to count. The child has not yet understood the basics. So if he has not understood the basics of counting, he will find it difficult adding or subtracting or dividing or multiplying. And if you're not a parent that is observant, if you're not a parent that pays attention, it's just like putting the cart before the horse. You will be flogging the child for something that the child has not yet understood. And sometimes it could also be due to personality differences. Like there's what we call attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's two syndromes in it. There's attention deficit, there's also hyperactivity. The child may just be experiencing an attention deficit, meaning that children, their attention span is very, very low. And if it's not developed, even adults, even in adulthood, the attention span is also very low. So what you find is a child is easily distracted, and you don't solve that by flogging. You don't solve that by punishing the child. You solve that by understanding and by showing love, by correcting and by encouraging the child and encouraging him in small wins. When he's able to concentrate for up to 5 minutes, for up to 2 minutes, you encourage him. You clap for him, you make him clap for himself. You make him realize that is a great feat. When he's able to solve a problem he has been feeling for some time, you encourage him by buying him something, by making him clap for himself, by doing something, show gestures that show that he is accepted. All this will help in forming his personality and making him have a good self-esteem that will make him want to understand the concept he is finding difficult. Because as the child grows and sees that I'm having a difficulty in this, and sees the love that is around, he wants to understand it so that he can impress you as the parent. And that is what you want, because you want your child to be better. And the way to get your child better is by understanding his difficulty and giving him the things, the tools he will need to overcome that. And when you give him those tools, he is able to use it just because he wants you to not feel bad. Because for every child that feels love from his parents, what happens is the moment the child feels, they understand that the parent is disappointed. So whether you say it or not, every child knows, mommy is disappointed. I feel this thing. I got 0/5 in my class assignment. Mommy is disappointed. They know it. You don't need to tell them, they know it. All you just need to do is place their tools they need to do what they need to do, and they will make you proud. So these are the things that could be nursing that challenge of dyscalculia. And for me growing up, I found out that my challenge was in that logical and verbal and quantitative reasonings, because I was not able to reason out concepts at that age, at that stage of my life. So understanding those concepts was a big challenge. And you as a parent, that is your duty to help your child overcome those challenges by being patient. Being patient. Dyscalculia is very, very common. If you visit the schools, our schools today, you will notice how common it is that even children in SS3 find it difficult. They are afraid of maths. They are scared of mathematics. And if you look well, over 50% is due to the teachers. The teachers are not making it look easy for them. They are not making it look enticing. And how do you make something difficult for a child look enticing? By making them realize that they can do this, by making them realize that they are smart, by making them realize that it is not their fault. It is not because there's a problem with them, rather, that is making this difficult, but because they've not yet understood it. Now all they need to do is to understand it. Because when you flog the child over and over and over and you are not seeing a change, then it means that you need to change your methods. So this is a video to teach us how to help children who are facing this challenge. The next child you see across the street may be having this challenge. So what do you do to help that child, to help him or her get better? Because sooner or later, every child learns. Don't forget that. Sooner or later, every child learns. It's your duty to make it sooner rather than later. Because if you don't help the child learn, the child will still learn it, but from another source. And then you would have lost the privilege to be a mentor to that child. What is the solution to this? The solution is every parent should engage in teaching their children at home. And while you teach your child at home, don't make it a cause and effect pattern of teaching. Make it a fun experience for the child. Make it something that the child is comfortable. An environment of learning should be comfortable and not threatening. If the environment is threatening, the child shuts off because the body sees it as danger, and nobody thinks clearly in danger. Talk more or talk less of a child. So make it comfortable for the child. Make the environment inviting. Make the environment inviting. Give the child learning aids that will help him or her understand. Walt Disney, when he could not understand the number 7, He could not understand the number 7. He thought it was the inverted form of his grandfather's nose. So what's the difference? Now he has grown up, he understands. You can't say that he does not, when he was alive, he didn't know what 7 was. No, he later came to understand it. But at that stage of his life, he had that as a challenge, which we call dyslexia. So make your child, make the environment, learning environment, comfortable and not threatening. And then the aim is to understand the major challenge, the major problem the child is having. Understanding the challenges. The aim is not what you have in mind for the child to learn. No, the aim in teaching and in helping your child at home is to understand what are their challenges. How can I come in? And when we do that, we will raise up smart children with a high level of self-esteem and making the society a better place. If you like contents like this, do well to hit the like button so that I know that there are people enjoying my content, and subscribe to this channel so that whenever I post a new video, you'll be the first person to know. To watch my video on learning difficulties, there's search around and you will see my video, and I'll see you in my next one.